Let's talk about something really important. I think recently there's been a very important development about Alibaba as a business, because some of you might know, hey, AliCloud might actually suffer a huge reduction in revenue because it seems like all these different public government data is currently shifting out of all these different public companies like Alibaba, Tencent, Huawei into their own privately state-owned companies. So let's take a look at how this will affect Alibaba as a business. So before I start, I did create a Discord channel for all you bulls and bears of Alibaba. So the entire objective of the channel is really to pull together resources and to establish an entire network effect surrounding the entire company itself. So if you're interested, please click in the link in the description box down below to join. On top of that, I've also left my referral link for both Tiger and Moomoo brokers. Essentially, I do all my investing on both brokerage platforms. So fear not, if they go bankrupt, so will I. So right now, they actually do run a lot of aggressive promotions and you can get free Apple shares and Pfizer shares. So feel free to use my referral link in the description box down below. With that, let's get right into today's topic. So the headline states that Tianjin asks government firms to move data out of Alibaba, Tencent clouds. So the Chinese cities of Tianjin has asked county-controlled companies to migrate their data from private sector operators like Alibaba Group and Tencent Holding to state-backed cloud system by next year. So the push by Tianjin, a city roughly 14 million people south of Beijing, which has provincial state-level status, come as China tighten controls on how companies store and manage the vast troves of data they collect. So the companies hosting their data on third-party managed cloud platforms such as Huawei Technologies, Alibaba, and Tencent will need to move to a government-run cloud. And that translates as state asset cloud, which within 2 months of the contract's expiration. So all data should be moved by September 30th, 2022. And the document said, adding that Guo Ziyun was being set up and that preparatory work would be completed by the end of August. So as of today, all companies should not sign new contracts with third-party cloud platforms or continue cloud resource rental agreements. So I think the main concerns of all you investors out there is that what percentage of the cloud revenue that Alibaba is currently generating consists of all these public customers. Right now, truth be told, this information isn't made public. Alibaba, or AliCloud in this case, did not give a specific breakdown in how much is government data and how much is all these different private companies. So honestly speaking, we cannot really make a very informed and we cannot really assess the impact when all these different government agencies choose not to renew the contract with all these third-party cloud providers anymore. So let's just look at this issue on two folds. The first fold is, this isn't a company-specific risk, this is an industry-specific risk. And I think most of you who are actually invested in Alibaba is also extremely bullish in the cloud segment. You guys know that if ByteDance did not drop AliCloud, AliCloud's year-on-year increase in revenue would actually be nearing to 40%. And by drawing the same conclusions from the US counterparts, you guys know that the entire cloud pie is a growing revenue pie which will have a very profound impact in terms of their revenue growth, in terms of their trajectory, and how we value the company by and large. But honestly speaking, by having government agencies and these public entities dropping third-party cloud providers was a curveball. Nobody actually predicted it and nobody saw it coming. So now we do have to assess the impact. How much is it going to affect Alibaba as a business? Which comes to the second fold of the analysis. What percentage or what proportion is all this public entity patronizing Alibaba Cloud, for example? So as of the recording of this video, I tried long and hard to trying to find hard numbers. I want to assess what are the percentage impact on the cloud revenue pie. But I really couldn't find it because I think they didn't make known to public about this proportion on what is public or private customers. But that said, I did manage to try to infer what are the numbers right now, and this is the best that I could come up with. So as you guys know, they recently just reported their earnings and there's been a lot of attention on their cloud growth rate. So this was the earnings call and the discussion between one of the analysts, which was posing a question to the management team, and Maggie actually responded. And this was how I tried to read between the lines and try to infer. But I'll just share with you what they actually discussed. So Piyush from Goldman Sachs actually asked the question. The first is on the cloud growth rate, which is down to 29% from 37%. Could you just take us through what happened in the quarter that resulted in a step down in growth rate when you have seen the impact of the customers moving out of the previous quarter? So how much of it was that customer? And also, if you could just help shed some light on what are the core growth rate of the cloud business in China, that could be helpful. And from Maggie's response, you can implicitly understand that, hey, this huge significant slowdown in growth rate was due to ByteDance's pull out and the ending of the contract between TikTok and AliCloud in this case. And more importantly, I think they did discuss about this concept of concentration risk, where a lot of their revenue might be concentrated on maybe one or two particular customer, and this will lead to an over-reliance. So when the customer leave, I think then the business will be in a great danger and a great deal of problem. I would not want to mention what company out there relies a lot on the government or relies a lot on one particular company, for example. I think concentration risk is a very important concept that we have to grasp as investors as well. But that's besides the point. I just want to understand and evaluate the situation about how important is the public sector or public entity to AliCloud in this case. So Maggie did say, one more thing to add to the cloud revenue is about the concentration risk you might have in mind. So if you were to take out that one customer, our top 10 external customers' revenue contribution to our total revenue is a single digit. So we are pretty diversified in the cloud revenue. I think this is just one of the most important lines that I wanted to reiterate and to maybe just try to provide you with some context. I'm quite sure they wouldn't consider government entities as internal customers. So government entities would probably be considered as external customers as well, because they're technically not under the government anyway. But of course, some of you who know more inside information, and if they classify government entities or government branches as internal customers, please do tell me about it. But if you were to really observe this statement stated by Maggie, she did say that the top 10 external customers' revenue contribution is only a single digit for their total revenue. In this case, this also means that they have a very diversified portfolio of customers. So right now, let's make a very bold prediction that, hey, even if government steps out of all these different contracts, and I do understand why they would want to step out, because they want to remain more independent, they do not want to have all this sensitive data being kept in third-party storage, compared to if they have the ability to house it in their own internal governance. I would then postulate that there wouldn't be a very significant impact on the cloud revenue for Alibaba as a group. So this is just done by my own research. Of course, for those of you who actually did manage to come up with some numbers or come up with some metric to try to evaluate the problem and the proportion of this blowout of how government entities are leaving third-party providers, please feel free to leave in the comment section down below as well. I think we are all very interested in how we can derive a proper number to evaluate the impact. And I really just wanted to end off this video by saying that what is the silver lining behind this entire debacle? If you were to really think about it and think critically, why are the governments retracting and redacting all their involvement with all these big tech companies right now? And it's not a company-specific one like I mentioned. It's not a specific curated target on Alibaba. I'm leaving AliCloud. No, they're leaving TencentCloud, they're leaving Huawei Cloud as well. So why are they reducing their reliance on all these so-called golden goose companies in China? Maybe just to throw out one point for discussion. As you all know, the entire crackdown on all these different SEC and US regulators has been very hard on and has been very stubborn in how they want all these different Chinese companies to fit to their bill, to fit to their regulation. By having the Chinese government taking the proactive step of trying to decoupling themselves with all these big tech companies, what kind of message is it trying to implicitly send to the different regulators? Does it mean that they're trying to give them more autonomy, trying to let them handle less government-sensitive data, trying to decouple all these big tech companies from all these different government agencies? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But what I'm trying to emphasize is, if there is lesser government intervention in all these big tech companies, it just means a higher probability of them working together. Because right now, they do not have to cite any national security reasons, and they do not have to be worried about all these different US regulators trying to poke their nose in all these different businesses in China particularly. With that, I'll see you in the next video, but more importantly, I'll see you on the moon. Goodbye!